Okay, now we have an opportunity for the public to address the board, and I have one, Mrs. Arnold, that has signed.
Hi, my name is Mary Arnold. A couple of rhetorical questions because I know you're not going to have the answers right here. I would like to know what the bus policy is as far as a child getting a transfer and what deems a transferred student. If someone would take that upon themselves and find out, I'll give you just a quick brief. In my neighborhood, there is an elementary student who is a special bus comes in, not special ed, but a different bus, not on his route because he doesn't know how to quote unquote behave with his current bus driver. One, I think people need to understand and know that busing in the state of Indiana is a privilege, not a right. It does not have to be provided by this school system. It is an endangerment to every child on that bus, including every person on the road, including every car passing that bus if there's a disruptive behavior on a bus. I have had kids on the bus for approximately 25 years now, so I have not dealt with just this bus system. I can tell you from past experience, I paid $90 a year to have a child in kindergarten, first and second grade bused to school. It was mandatory that I pay it because they had to cross a major highway, 51, in Lake County, Indiana. But you had to pay it. You either took them yourself or you paid for the bus to come. The school corporation ran the bus, but you had to pay for it because they did not allow it to be put into their budget and taxed. That's where my issue comes in with this child, is that this is tax dollars, one. It's my tax dollars that you're sending after this child. I don't know how all that bidding is done here, not real keen on it. But if it goes as standard as to what I think, that is my tax dollars. Two, that is a second bus coming in, which is creating more green. We need, this school, company, corporation, whatever, everybody's supposed to be going green, and that is not happening if you're sending a second bus to pick up a child that does not know how to behave. The flip side of that, the other part of this is that busing, and I know that technology is looking at this, but if something isn't started somewhere, in my neighborhood, in a matter of 5 houses, with approximately a 200-foot frontage, so we're in less than 1,000 feet of each other, the bus is stopped 4 times. Not one child is an elementary school student. 4 times. And I can watch the bus stop. That is fuel, that is time, that is green gases, once again, and I'm sure that if it's happening in my neighborhood, it's happening in every neighborhood. I'm sure that it's not just like an isolated incident. But if someone would please check into what is happening. My other part of this is that technology, you're handed a separate form. It's not buried in the little handbook. It's not buried in the student manual. It's not buried underneath. In busing, and this is the first time I have ran into where busing is buried in the handbook. Every other place you have gotten a separate piece of paper just like this with all the rules, and you actually had to sign it as a parent and send it back in, and it was busing. It went to busing. It didn't go to principals. It wasn't held in the schools. It was held where there's busing. That would be my rhetorical question. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, under new business, the first item is board consideration and action of public meeting to non-renew principal contract of Kent Dunning effective 6/30/2010.
I'd ask the board to approve the recommendation as submitted.
I've got something I'd like to say on that. And I'm a new board member, but I hear a lot of ifs and ands and buts and whatever, but I don't think this should have been done in the middle of the year, school year. It's disruptive both schools. People in the South's not happy with the move they got. And these kids protested the day after school. If there's 200 kids, that's 6 hours per student. That's 1,200 educational hours these kids missed out on. And I don't think it's right to do this in the middle of the year. Thank you.
Any other comments? Not then, is there a motion on the item?
So,
Moved by Jeff, second by Larry. All in favor? 4 opposed, 2 abstained, 1. Next items are field trips, and I'd like to group those together if we could.
I have a question about the first one not the first one, the one to Paoli Peak.
That's number 20.
Okay, again, I notice we have 100 students, 2 sponsors, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't we have someone get hurt last year, year before, on that trip? I'm assuming this is a weekend, it is.
Yeah, it's
You know, I'm not sure why the school sponsors this.
I can't speak to the question on last year. I can look into that for you, Ms. Eastler. It's just this organization is a club organization, and it's something the school has done for many years. I know that when I taught there, as a matter of fact, we went. There's also a group of parents that go as well, but it is, and there's also supervision at Paoli Peaks from the staff members. It's simply a trip that they feel like at the junior high level, there's a lot of need to build social interactions, and there's an opportunity for the students to meet together and have opportunities outside the classroom. And this is a way that doesn't interrupt instructional time. So that's, as far as I know, it's something they've done for several years. And like you pointed out, it is a weekend trip. It doesn't disrupt educational time. So I really don't have any other. If you have any other specific questions, I'd be glad to get those for you.
Any questions on any of the others?
If I may, Mr. Wynn will just make a note that you may notice that item 21 is scheduled for February 13th due to the weather, and as well as we felt like we still wanted the students to have an opportunity.
February 3rd?
Yeah, down 3rd.
February 3rd, excuse me, on the 21st, which technically would have been post facto, although after we had turned this in, they moved that to the 19th. So I just want to let you know that would be on the 19th.
Okay.
And other than that, the policies do meet the trips and requests do meet the field trip policy, so that part I recommend the approval.
I can concur and ask the board to approve the field trip request as submitted.
Any of these to pull? Not then, I would ask, there's a motion on items 16 through 24 field trips. Motion by Larry.
second.
Second by Dr. Gonzaga. All in favor, raise your hand. 7-0.